So if you've been thinking about becoming a virtual assistant in 2026, but you feel kind of overwhelmed by all of the different information out there, I'm here to tell you that you do not need a perfect plan. You do not need a huge audience or even like a long list of certifications. It is really, really easy to get started in 2026. So without further ado, let's hop in and talk about how to actually get started in 2026. So, firstly, I just want to make the point that you do not need to know everything. You need to start with what you already know. Okay. So, what I want you to do essentially is sit down and write a list of things that you have done in the past, maybe in your current role, in a recent role, that would translate over to being a virtual assistant. So, for example, if you were doing any form of email management, even if it is your own email, then you know how to do email management. If you were doing any kind of scheduling, that's a skill you need. If you were working with a specific software, that's a skill that translates into being a virtual assistant. So let's say you worked with Bamboo HR or ADP or whatever, or like a CRM, like I'm trying to think, ClickUp, Asana, ClickUp. What's that one called that's really popular? Oh, Salesforce. Yeah, so any of those, if you've just been using any kind of software, know that it translates into what you will do as a virtual assistant. So I want you to sit down, take a piece of paper, and write down anything and everything that you can think of. And any skill that you've used in the past, had in the past, that will translate into being a virtual assistant. Okay? So that's step number one. Number two, I want you to pick from that list a few clear services. So essentially, look at the list and pick the ones that you are most comfortable with. So the ones that you could do with your eyes closed, essentially, like the back of your hand, that come really easy, that you're super, super comfortable with. I want you to pick three of those. That's the first three services that you will offer as a virtual assistant. Okay, so that can be email management, scheduling, calendaring, and something else, whatever you want to put, right? So just pick your top three, and then that's the services you're going to start with. Super easy, super simple. Just make sure that you are strong in them and you know them really, really well. So don't pick the ones that you're weakest in, essentially. And then point number three is I want you to focus on getting visible immediately. So don't focus on getting everything perfect. A lot of people will go out there and they'll design a logo, they'll design a perfect business card, they'll design a whole website, they'll get like perfectly polished branding. And I can tell you from experience, none of it matters. Okay? Literally, no one cares what your brand colors are. No one, or maybe like one or two people, very few people even go on your website unless you tell them to check out your website. Okay? So none of that matters. Like having a logo does not matter. Literally no one cares. You know what does matter? That you tell people, you become visible, you start communicating, you start having conversations, and you tell people what you do. That's what's going to get the needle moving, and that's how you're going to actually transition from where you're at into becoming a virtual assistant in 2026. So what I want you to do is go out there, tell all your friends and family, not in a pushy way, just in a, hey, this is what I'm changing my career to. This is what I'm doing. And I want you to start looking at local in-person networking events that contain kind of the group of people that you might want to work with, and also virtual, national, and if you want, international networking events. And I can tell you, you can find tons of them on like sites like Eventbrite and Meetup. So start there and show up. Essentially, show up for yourself, get visible. If you want to have a simple business card, go for it, but don't overthink it. You don't need a logo, you don't need a website, you just need a way for these people to contact you. So email, phone number, that's it. Or scheduling link if you want to do like a Calendly. That's perfect. Beyond that, you don't need anything else. So you need to figure out what your services are. Just to recap, figure out what your services are. Pick a few clear or figure out what you're good at. Then pick a few clear services. And then go ahead and focus on getting visible. All of the rest of it will come down the road and does not matter right now. Okay. And if you're sitting there thinking, okay, but how do I actually get clients once I get started? Go watch my video. I did a video on how I got my first clients when I started my own business. I break everything down and what worked really well for me. I will link to it below, but go watch that. And I think it'll be super helpful for you.